next Wednesday on NBC.
Stick around later for Jimmy Fallon as John Boyega drops by tonight.
Sudden blast surveillance video captures the explosion that killed a worker and sent flames tearing through a cosmetics plant.
Plus, Matt Lauer fired. The new allegations surfacing against the former face of NBC's Today Show. And this.
3, 2, 1.
Shining bright, the world's most famous Christmas tree wows thousands in one star-studded event. News 4 New York at 11 starts now. Good evening. We're glad you are with us tonight. I'm Stephen Holt.
And I'm Stacey Bell. Natalie has the night off. He was supposed to co-host tonight's Rockefeller Center Christmas tree lighting, but instead, Matt Lauer is laying low. Less than 24 hours after the firing that stunned viewers and shook our NBC family.
And several hours later tonight, there are new accusers coming forward, accusing the veteran anchor of sexual misconduct.
News 4's Checky Beckford is in our newsroom tonight with the story, Checky, that just keeps unfolding.
That's right, Stacey. You know, in so many of these high-profile cases of sexual allegations, we've seen more than one accuser. In less than 24 hours after Matt Lauer's firing, even more women have come forward. But interestingly enough, Matt Lauer's own voice, which has been instrumental in so many stories at NBC over the years, it remains silent in this narrative.
Tonight, silence from the newsman whose voice and image were staples in American homes each morning for more than 20 years. But not going away, allegations of sexual misconduct by Matt Lauer, the first accusation leading NBC News to announce his firing Wednesday morning.
This is a sad morning here at Today and at NBC News. And I'm heartbroken for the brave colleague who came forward to tell her story, and any other women who have their own stories to tell.
Since that announcement, an NBC spokesperson confirms 2 more accusers have come forward Wednesday after the company says it received its first accusation of sexual misconduct Monday night. It came during an hours-long sit-down with a current employee and her attorney, who claimed the misconduct began at the 2014 Olympic Games in Sochi and continued. NBC News chairman Andrew Lack saying in a statement, it represents, after a serious review, a clear violation of our company's standards. While it is the first complaint about his behavior in the over 20 years he's been at NBC News, we were also presented with reason to believe this may not have been an isolated incident. Late today, Variety magazine published a report in which 3 women claimed they were sexually harassed by Lauer. Their accounts, Variety says, corroborated by friends or colleagues. The report lays out an alleged pattern of sexual misconduct, including Lauer exposing himself to an employee in his office and inviting women employed by NBC late at night to his hotel room while covering the Olympics. According to the magazine, several of the women say they made complaints to NBC executives and were ignored. But tonight, an NBC News spokesperson responded. We can say unequivocally that prior to Monday night, current NBC News management was never made aware of any complaints about Matt Lauer's conduct. In what is now an eerie exchange, in this September interview with Bill O'Reilly, who had just been fired from Fox News over allegations of his sexual misconduct, Lauer seems to ask and answer the question that now plagues his own legacy.
But you don't let your number one guy go unless you have information that you think makes him...
That's not true.
And multiple attempts were made to contact Lauer. Now, the attorney for the woman who made the initial accusation says that NBC responded quickly, firing Lauer within 34 hours after they came forward. He also commends his client, he says, for being so courageous in coming forward in the first place. In the newsroom, Checky Beckford, News 4 New York.
All right, Checky, thank you very much. And longtime radio host Garrison Keillor is also out of a job tonight. He was fired by Minnesota Public Radio for alleged inappropriate behavior. NPR says this all comes after an employee came forward with those allegations. But in a statement to NPR News, Keillor wrote that he has to respect the privacy of 2 employees who made allegations. NPR has only confirmed 1 accusation. Keillor is 75. He's famous for hosting the radio variety show A Prairie Home Companion.
We have some breaking news in the Russia probe. The Associated Press is reporting tonight that President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, has been questioned. The AP reports that Kushner was questioned by special counsel Robert Mueller's team of investigators about former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. That questioning lasted 90 minutes and happened earlier this month. Investigators wanted to know if Kushner had any information that could exonerate Flynn. Flynn is under investigation by the council that is looking into Russian meddling in the 2016 election. Flynn was forced to resign in February after officials concluded he misled them about his Russian contacts. And we have some dramatic new video tonight of that explosion at a cosmetics factory that killed a man. Take a look. The Orange County executive released this video from the Verla Cosmetics factory just a few hours ago. Video shows a worker catching fire as the blast rocked the plant last week. Fire officials say the worker was wiping a tank, you see it again there, filled with flammable liquid when static electricity caused a spark. More than 100 people were injured in that blast. One worker died.
Tonight in Brooklyn, the NYPD is asking for your help to find this man seen on the right side of your screen here. He's accused of sexually assaulting and robbing a woman. It's hard to make out the suspect in this footage here, but police say he approached that woman on Saturday night in Clinton Hill. He started talking to her and then all of a sudden pushed her to the ground and sexually assaulted her. The NYPD says the man then took the woman's cell phone and keys and ran off.
Well, New York City police want to test a gun that was used by a suspected serial killer in Florida. They want to see if it matches any unsolved crimes here at home. 24-year-old Howell Donaldson is charged with killing 4 people in Tampa since early October. Police arrested Donaldson last night after a coworker alerted them that he was carrying a gun. Donaldson spent most of his life in Queens. He graduated from St. John's University earlier this year.
We were like, "Are you sure you didn't hurt anybody here?" We were scared. It's crazy to think about someone that went to the same school as you could do something like that.
Puts him at 3 of the crime scenes. All 4 victims were killed at random near bus stops, but police are still trying to determine a motive.
Stacey, tonight the Senate has moved one step closer to voting on a historic overhaul of the tax code. Republicans pushing hard on their new tax bill. The chamber voted 52 to 48 to begin debate on the bill. The vote, you see there, split right along party lines. Republicans claim this is a bill that will make corporate tax cuts and will equal more jobs and higher wages for the middle class. Tonight, the president was in Missouri and made his pitch for the plan and repeated his claim that the bill would cost him and the wealthy a fortune.
I have some very wealthy friends. Not so happy with me, but that's okay. You know, I keep hearing Schumer, deuces for the wealthy. Well, if it is, my friends don't know about it.
According to the Nonpartisan Tax Policy Center, the wealthiest Americans would benefit most, while the middle class would see a tax increase by 2027. That's when many of the bill's provisions expire. The House has already passed their version of tax reform, and they could vote on that by the end of the week.
And tensions are escalating tonight following North Korea's latest missile launch. At an emergency UN Security Council meeting today, U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley said this launch brings the U.S. closer to a war. If it comes, Haley warns the regime will be, quote, utterly destroyed. She also called on China to cut off their oil supply and for other nations to cut off all ties with North Korea. New photos released by the regime purportedly show Kim Jong-un guiding the test fire missile that it claims can hit the U.S. mainland.
New tonight, Con Ed repair crews are on the scene of a broken water main that's flooding part of the west side. Pipe burst at 57th and 11th Avenue. Pretty soggy there. Several streets are closed. We're also told some basements in the area have flooded. Crews are still trying to fix the problem and to figure out what caused that water main to break.
Well, this should brighten your spirits. Look at that. You are looking at 75 feet of holiday spirit for the first time this season. The Rockefeller Center Christmas tree is lit up and sparkling.
It is beautiful. The annual tradition came with a lot of fun and a lot of fanfare tonight. News 4's Ray Vieta got a front row seat for all of the action there tonight. It was pretty fun, Ray.
Stephen and Stacey, it was very fun. What a wonderful night. The weather held up, that's for sure. It was quite the night. Thousands showed up, and what a gorgeous night it was. The 85th annual Rockefeller Center tree lighting went off smoothly, surrounded by holiday cheer, excitement, and police.
Welcome to NBC's Christmas in Rockefeller Center. In the heart of Midtown, in Rockefeller Center, you could feel the excitement.
We love New York. We love everything about everything that's going on. Happy occasion. I'm so happy that everybody gets to come together.
As thousands watched the musical acts like Gwen Stefani, waiting for that moment. Just before 9 o'clock and a few seconds early, 50,000 LED lights lit up the 75-foot Norway spruce, covering the plaza in bright colors and sending a wave of holiday cheer over the crowd.
What do you think of the tree lighting?
It's cool, and I like it a lot.
From the young to the young at heart.
Yes, New York. I'm celebrating my 80th birthday.
Your 80th birthday?
Yes.
I don't believe it.
Yes.
What do you think of the event so far?
Well, it's long. But it's awesome. It's awesome.
Among the crowds, it was not hard to find the NYPD, providing the same level of security it did during the Thanksgiving Day parade, with security checkpoints, armed officers, and canines.
It's incredible that you can see NYPD everywhere and you feel so safe, and that's phenomenal.
An incredible show of force, an incredible light show, a tradition since the Depression era, bigger than ever, safer than ever, celebrating the start of the holiday season in New York City.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas indeed. The tree is up until January 7th, and we want to remind folks that 49th and 50th streets will be blocked off during much of the holiday season while the tree is up to let folks enjoy the site. For a full list of the closures and the times, go to NBCNewYork.com. We're live in Rockefeller Center tonight. I'm Ray Vieda, News 4 New York.
All right, Ray, thank you very much. This was my first tree lighting this year.
Did you have fun?
I had a great time.
Always so much fun.
So much fun, and I had a lot of friends out there as well today. All right, thanks very much, Ray. Appreciate it. We'll talk about the right place at the right time. A quick-thinking employee who stepped in when a suspect in handcuffs tried to make a run for it. This you've got to see.
Plus, grounded? The major mix-up that could leave thousands of flights without pilots at Christmas time.
And one bittersweet homecoming. The daughter who only spent one day with her father has a heartbreaking reunion on a Long Island tarmac.
You saw it on Today in New York.
The Giants are going to have a new starting quarterback, Eli Manning, benched by the struggling team.
Get it first on 4 at 4 a.m.
Start your day
with the first local news at 4 a.m.
tomorrow on Today in New York.
Hi.
Well, honey, I said sweet potatoes.
Yes, you did. I forgot the shrimp.
A person of interest is in custody in connection with the stabbing of a nurse right outside of a Newark hospital. She's a labor and delivery nurse, was attacked Sunday night as she was walking to her car after a 12-hour shift at University Hospital. Today, Newark police officers spotted a person who matched a description of the suspect. We're told that nurse is still recovering in the hospital.
A New York City teenager accused of killing his classmate is free. He's on bail tonight. 18-year-old Abel Cedeno was released earlier today. This comes just weeks after police say he stabbed two classmates at the Urban Assembly for Life Wildlife Conservation School in the Bronx. 15-year-old Matthew McCree died. Another classmate was injured. McCree's family is not happy that the teenager was released.
I'm pissed. He gets to go home with his family for Christmas, and my son is in a freaking cemetery. All I want is justice for both boys, for Matthew and Ariane.
Cedeno's family and friends say he was constantly bullied at school. The victim's family says McCree was not a part of that. Cedeno's release includes a mandated curfew, a tracking device, and weekly check-ins.
Tonight, a soldier from Long Island is finally home. More than 70 years after he lost his life serving our country, the remains of a World War II pilot touched down in Ronkonkoma today, a sight his relatives have longed to see for decades. News 4's Michael George has their story.
Sergeant Robert Main's long journey home to Long Island ended here tonight. Shot down during World War II, he was lost but never forgotten. His daughter was there to accept his remains. It was a reunion 72 years in the making. As Barbara O'Brien waited on the tarmac at Long Island's MacArthur Airport, she told us she doesn't remember meeting her father.
He saw me once. The day I was born, he was there, and he was with me for a full day. And then he was called to war. 27-year-old Army Sergeant Robert Maines would never get to hold his daughter again.
The Rochester native's plane was shot down during a bombing run in Germany in 1945, the final days of World War II.
He was missing in action, and as a little girl, I didn't realize that he was dead, really. I just heard that he was missing.
And Sergeant Maines stayed missing for 72 long years. Then, just weeks ago, the call Barbara thought she would never get. Her father had been found. His remains were identified in Germany using DNA.
I hoped, but it's so far-fetched, nevertheless, that I'm one of the people that has their father returned to them.
It was an emotional moment at MacArthur Airport. Passengers peered through windows inside the terminal. Even airport tarmac workers watched with reverence. After 7 decades, Sergeant Maines was finally back home on Long Island. Given a hero's welcome. And a daughter got to reunite with the father she last saw on the day she was born.
I feel like my father's come home, and I'm going to be taking care of him. He deserves to have the very best. He gave his life for our country.
Sergeant Maines will be buried with military honors on Saturday. In Smithtown, Michael George, News 4 New York.
A different type of reunion. Thank you, Michael. Well, if you are planning to fly this holiday season on American Airlines, your flight could be one of the 15,000 flights without a pilot. The airline says a scheduling glitch allowed American Airlines pilots who requested holiday time off to take that vacation. Now, that means thousands of flights next month don't have pilots assigned to them, including many out of JFK and LaGuardia. The airline now offering pilots 150% of their hourly pay to help cover those dates. The airline says they also have enough reserve pilots to help cover those dates. Let's hope so.
We have an update now on the crisis in the Caribbean. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announced today that he is deploying an additional 72 utility experts to Puerto Rico. They will help assist with the ongoing recovery of the island's power grid. All right, going to get a check of the weather now with Storm Team 4. A little chilly out there for the tree lighting.
But it felt like the holidays, starting to feel that way.
It felt like it, and it looks like it now with the tree all ready to go. And lights all around Midtown, Saks Fifth Avenue, and everybody's got their lights up, so it's starting to look more like the holidays for sure. And our weather was nice and dry for the tree lighting, of course. No problems from the weather, except it did turn chilly, as we expected. These are the current temperatures, down to 30 right now. In Monticello, you'll see some 20s later on tonight. The city's at 44, and the coastal areas mainly in the 40s as well. So it was a rapid cool down once the sun went down this evening. Winds are not as strong as they were earlier, but they're still out of the north, so that's a cool direction, of course. And there's a slight bit of wind chill if you're out there in a few spots. Feels like 25 in Monticello, 29 in Poughkeepsie, feels like 33 in Danbury, and 38 in West Hampton. Storm Tracker 4's red sweep is quiet and clear. Back to the west, though, we're watching an approaching cold front. This is the second one. One came through today, knocked down our temperatures from the 60s this afternoon. This one will bring a few showers late tomorrow night into early Friday. But tomorrow's mainly dry. We start out chilly in the 20s and 30s, and we stay in the 40s in the city all day long. That front comes through the tri-state area around 1 a.m. Friday. So we'll see some rain showers in the wee hours of the morning, and then behind that, it's clearing. So by the rush hour on Friday morning, it's pretty clear. Most of the rain is offshore with temperatures in the 30s and 40s. Here's a Storm Team 4 10-day forecast for you. 50 is the high temperature for tomorrow. We were in the mid-60s today, but just like that, we've been knocked back down for tomorrow. Those showers will come tomorrow night. It is a bright afternoon on Friday. Lots of sunshine, up to 53 degrees, just slightly above average. Back to the 40s on Saturday. Beautiful weekend. And then Sunday, 53, 51 on Monday. Much needed rain, so more showers coming Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. And at the end of next week into next weekend, we could be looking at a bit of an Arctic blast coming our way with some much colder air. Then it's really going to feel like the holidays for sure. Everybody all bundled up out and shopping. So.
Hadn't heard that term in a while.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Thank you very much, Janice. And Bruce, talking basketball.
Well, the Knicks had reason to worry tonight at the Garden. Kristaps Porzingis suffered an ankle injury, but his teammates picked him up, especially a guy named Cantor. And the fallout from the Eli Manning benching continues. We'll hear from his teammates on the earth-shattering move in a moment.
NBC
NBC4 and Telemundo 47 are getting kids excited
about the science of weather.
NBC4 Weather Kids! NBC4 Weather Kids
and Storm Team 4.
Together
Let's head to Las Vegas now, where police are searching for a man who held up one of the most famous casinos in the world. This is the man police are looking for. They say he strolled into the Bellagio Hotel in the middle of the day yesterday, walked up to the cashier cage in the poker room and demanded money from the clerks. It's not clear how much money he got away with. Actor James Woods was playing in the poker room at the time. He says it happened just 30 feet away from him.
Interesting. Police in West Virginia managed to nab a handcuffed suspect who was on the run, all thanks to a quick-thinking restaurant employee. It was all caught on video as well, a suspect being arrested for possessing drugs. He ran from police. There he goes. A fast food employee saw the commotion that was going on when that suspect came running at him. He tackled the guy. Look, he takes him down. Then police take over. The suspect taken to a police station and booked on those drug possession charges. We'll be right back with Bruce Beck and sports. Don't go away.
Closed captioning provided by Toyota.
Join us for the holiday experience above it all. Winter Wonderland at One World Observatory. Head downtown and start a new tradition this year. Visit oneworldobservatory.com for tickets.
Once again, everybody's getting into shape to save big cash at ShopRite's Big Brand Bash with digital coupons on the biggest brands. Starkist Solid White Tuna is 5 for $4 when you download our digital coupon to your Price Plus card. So what are you waiting for?
I'm thankful that I'm alive and have a second chance.
I'm thankful for the help and the opportunity that I received.
I'm thankful to be able to help people in crisis.
I'm thankful that addiction is treatable and that help is available.
New Jersey is experiencing a heroin epidemic fueled by opioid painkillers. But if you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, I want you to know we are here for you. This holiday season, choose help. Call 844-REACH-NJ or visit reachnj.gov.
All new Ellen, Chelsea Handler. Plus,
is anyone here for the 12 days of giveaways?
Day 7 of Ellen's giveaways.
Silly me, I thought it was just me that you were here for.
Tomorrow at 3 on NBC for New York.
Hi.
The Verizon Fios Sports Desk is brought to you by Fios. From TVs to tablets, everything is amazing on the 100% fiber optic network. Visit getfios.com today.
Bruce Beck is here with a night of thrills and spills at the Garden.
How long have you been working on that line is the question. The Knicks hit their first speed bump of the young season. Tonight they tried to avoid their first 4-game losing streak of the year as they hosted the Heat. And the Garden was holding its breath. Just 2.5 minutes into the game, Kristaps Porzingis had his ankle stepped on by Justice Winslow. Porzingis immediately crumpled to the Garden floor. He couldn't stand on his own, and the big man needed help getting to the locker room. X-rays were negative, but he did suffer a sprained right ankle and did not return. But everything else went the Knicks' way. Tim Hardaway beats the halftime buzzer. Kyle O'Quinn beats the third-quarter buzzer. Enes Kanter returned after a 3-game absence and was a monster with 22 points and 13 rebounds as the Knicks, who led at one point by 30, cruised to a 115-86 victory.
I was actually pretty close to coming back in, and I wanted to come back in. At halftime, the doctors recommended to stay out, so we made a decision that I should not go back out there.
Meanwhile, the Nets were in Dallas up by 6 with under 2 minutes to play. Joe Harris buries the wide-open triple. 109-104 the final. It's the Nets' 4th road win of the season. Last year, they didn't reach 4 road victories until March. What a surreal 24 hours in Giants land, where fans are outraged over the way Eli Manning was benched. Today, team owner John Mara said, quote, maybe the timing could have been a little different, and that management was caught off guard when Eli declined to start and only play half the game. It was certainly weird watching Eli take snaps as the backup signal caller. With that as the backdrop, Geno Smith prepared to make his first start for Big Blue. Today, head coach Ben McAdoo defended his franchise-altering decision.
I feel we have to put our emotions aside and make the best decision for the New York Football Giants. You know, there's going to be emotions involved. There's going to be outrage, and you have to stick to your decision and do what you feel is best for the organization.
There's a lot of things that have been happening around here, you know, and we all see it, but you know, I don't think it had anything to do with the quarterback.
Barring injury, I didn't see any way that Eli Manning wouldn't be our quarterback, but at the same time, we're a team, and Eli's got right behind Gino and had his support and had his back, and I think that just goes to show what kind of man Eli is. He was out there taking scout team quarterback reps, not saying a word about it.
Call it the end of an era, and as usual, it doesn't end well. For the fans, it might not settle in until Sunday when the longtime face of the Giants franchise, Eli Manning, is standing on the sidelines. We'll be right back.
I've seen them all. Big, small, wide, slim, but never two exactly the same, which is why at Men's Warehouse, we create the perfect fit. Because no matter what size your label says, it's time to like the way you look.
Have a tip for New York's biggest I-team? Call 866-NEWS-244 or log on to NBCNewYork.com/tips.
All right, before we go, one last check of the forecast, Janice.
Well, the 60s were nice while they lasted the one day. It's back to reality now. Your Storm Team 4 10-day forecast shows a big cool down for tomorrow with a high of 50, 53 on Friday. Some late night showers tomorrow, and then a nice weekend in store with sunshine and temperatures 40s and 50s, rain early next week.
All right, so long 60s.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's it for News 4 New York at 11 o'clock. Thanks for joining us tonight. The Tonight Show's next.
Today in New York begins at 4 a.m. Have a good night.